Welcome, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. I'm Dan. I am not actually Santa. And over there, we have Tim. He is not Santa either. But we are here this week to talk all things Santa. And we're going to be running down the list of the greatest, best on-screen representations of jolly old St. Nicholas ever laid to celluloid or a micro disc or whatever they put in a digital camera. So, we have a long list. We're going to go through the great ones all the way to the ones that you're like, wait a minute, what? If you have your own list, your own Mount Rushmore at home, feel free to weigh in the comments. Let us know, who we're missing, why we're crazy, all of those things. But we're going to open with me and Tim's Mount Rushmores. We're going to work through these. And if you don't know, then go back to civics class because you should know. But Mount Rushmore has 4 presidents on it. So these are the 4 best Santa Clauses in existence, according to the Nerd Champs. And there'll be more than 4 because I don't know if there'll be total agreement here. So I guess we'll go from like least to best. Okay. So Tim, where are we on number 4?
On number 4, I put Douglas Seale from Ernest Saves Christmas. I think that he has a lot of the classic Santa cheer. And I feel like 1980s is really when Santa took shape in cinema more than it did any other decade, really. So Douglas Seale, I had at number 4. I felt like the movie itself was just a great classic Christmas movie anyway. But to have him kind of be Santa that kind of needs Ernest's help, he needs the help of this buffoon in order to save Christmas I think it was like Orlando of all places, if I'm not mistaken. He needed the help of Ernest of all people in order to help him save Christmas. It was quite a funny story, but he delivered it very, very well. So he came in at my number 4. Where were you, Dan?
Okay. Now I will say, I have seen Ernest Saves Christmas, but I haven't seen it in a year that starts with 2. so I don't really, I'm going to put it in my watch list this year. I swear I watched Ernest Scared Stupid for the first time in over 20 years this year due to Tim's urging. Tim is a giant Ernest fan, if you haven't picked that up yet. So I'm going to watch it this year and I will report back next year to all of you about this fine performance. I've seen pictures and it looks perfect. So as far as that goes, I think we're there. My number 4, and it might be high for some, it might be low for the others. I'm just gonna go with Tim Allen from The Santa Claus. He as Scott Calvin, he's great, but by the end of that movie and in the sequels, he is totally into the role of Santa Claus. He really inhabits it. The makeup effects stand up great. The fat suit and all of the the makeup. He's got a fantastic beard, and he just really it's weird because Tim Allen's kind of a grumpy type guy. If you see his stand up or see him, but like he really embodies it, and it's probably his best acting performance because he feels like a jolly Santa. He's closer, I think, in real life to Scott Calvin than Santa Claus, but he delivers the performance really well. I even enjoyed, these are the things I try to watch with my family, and they're going a million directions at once. So I don't always finish these things, but I watched a season and a half of the show they had on Disney Plus, and of the things that were resurrected for Disney Plus, it is one of the least trampled on franchises that Disney Plus has touched, because Tim Allen is still delivering that great performance in it. So where's your number 3, Tim?
Well, no, I mean, I think let me just expound on Tim Allen just a bit, because I do think that he does deliver a great performance. It's a great movie that took on kind of a different aspect of Christmas that a lot of people don't think about, which is, divorced parents have to kind of split the time with the kids and all that kind of stuff. It was a very, very serious thing that a lot of people don't want to think about sometimes in a Christmas movie, but it's something that needed to be taken on. Tim Allen took that on, and I think that he did a very good job with it. I'm with you, Dan. By the end of the movie, he is Santa Claus. He's somebody that is synonymous with Santa Claus. I think if you ask a lot of people in the generation kind of just below mine, which is kind of like the millennial, zillennial kind of generation, I think if you ask them, they think Tim Allen is up towards the top as Santa Claus. So, great performance. I really wish that Tim Allen would do more Santa Claus now that he's older. I wish that he would, because it kind of fits now, whereas it didn't really fit when he was only like 40 some years old. But I think that it fits really well now. And so, I wish that maybe if they would resurrect that for kind of a reunion film, that would kind of be great. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And it's a classic for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So number 3, where are we at? You want to start? Or you want me to start with number 3?
You go ahead. Give us your number 3, Dan. Let's do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
My number 3 was a last second revision. And, I had a 3 in there that I felt pretty good about, but you know what? I didn't even move my 3 to 4 because I figured Tim Allen was great and needed to stay in there. My new number 3 is a recent entry, and we've already talked about this movie. It's David Harbour from Violent Night. I'm telling you, the movie is crazy. It is bonkers, and it's an out of character Santa, but it's also just like it's a fantastic Santa, and even his disgruntlement, it kind of encaptures the whole. I know he's drunk and he's throwing up on people and things like that, but he's carrying the same message as Dr. Seuss's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, or It's Christmas, Charlie Brown, that Christmas has become too commercialized. People are greedy. Nobody cares. And he's becoming, jaded by the whole thing. And but he does bring you by the end, he is reclaimed his Santaness. He is regained his Christmas spirit. Spoilers, but it is still a Christmas movie. So usually if you're going to go see a Christmas movie, by the end, the people have regained their Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to see Silent Night, Deadly Night, but in Violent Night, it's more of a traditional Christmas film. And I just think he nails it. I don't usually like a lot of Santa Claus backstory, a lot of Santa Claus mythology, but the Santa Claus gives you a lot of it, and I think it hits it well. And Violent Night gives you some with his Viking backstory and stuff, and I think it fits. I kind of liked it. It worked for me. So that is my number 3, a last minute addition.
I think what's really funny about David Harbour as Santa Claus is I think anybody who's familiar with David Harbour's work, you won't be surprised at all by what you see. Like you'll just be like, okay. But anybody who's not familiar and thinks, oh, this is just a fun Christmas movie, you'll be like, oh, like the very beginning, you'll be like, oh, okay. Like Dan says when he throws up on the lady. But but really, what I really like about it is exactly what you mentioned, Dan. It's a Christmas story. That's what's so funny about it. And he kind of turns into like the Santa version of John McClane. He like kills guys with candy canes and strands of lights and all kinds of stuff. It really is funny. And I enjoy it. At the very end, there's a moment where you think Santa is dead. And everybody is like, I believe in Santa. I believe it's like clap, Tinkerbell, clap, and then he comes back to life. And so anyway, it's very, very much a traditional like Christmas story in that regard. So I think it's really good. And there is a moment when he puts something that is alluded to several times when he puts his finger alongside his nose to help himself get out of trouble, and the last one is just pretty awesome. So anyway, but yeah, so anyway, just an FYI, give it a watch. It's actually free on Fandango right now with ads, guys, so give it a watch. Happy holidays. Okay. My
welcome.
number 3, if I had to pick one, Dan, just a classic, David Huddleston, the Santa Claus the movie. I think that's, to me, that's something that's a little classic. 1985. You can kind of tell the era I grew up in by who my selections are going to be. But I feel like Santa Claus the movie is one of those movies that really it stands the test of time. It's going to be one of those Santa Claus performances that stands out. I feel like it's just a little more Santa centric than the Ernest Saves Christmas, which is why I think he kind of gets the nudge. But pretty much a lot of the same stuff, where he's very much got all the Santa mannerisms. He looks just like Santa. He acts just like Santa. The movie's a classic. Everybody loves it. So I feel like that's going to be my number 3. What do you think, Dan?
I'm going to be totally honest, Tim. I have never, and I was born in 1979.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen Santa Claus the movie. I know it only in the context. Okay. It was made by, I think, Cannon or Orion. Is it called the same guys who made Superman, the Christopher Reeves Superman? And they spent the house. You know, they were like, you know what? We made a Superman movie. We'll make a Santa Claus movie. He's public domain. We don't have to pay nobody.
Exactly. We don't have to pay anybody.
But they broke the bank. I mean, I know it was a huge budget. It was a huge budget. And but I've never watched it. And so I have to find out what it's on. I'm gonna put these on my viewing list and watch them this year.
For sure. Yeah. It's definitely something that's worth the watch. I think it's a classic. I feel like, and here's the thing, like I say, generationally, I think a lot of people are going to say they've never seen it, you know, because a lot of people younger than me probably have never seen it. A lot of people that are my age and older, there were just so many other Christmas classics that kind of got buried. It's definitely worth the watch. It's a great Christmas movie. Go ahead and give it a watch.
All right. I'm going to do that. All right. Mm-hmm. So you go first on 2.
All right.
First on 3.
I think, Dan, this is when you're going to reach through the computer and maybe try to strangle me, because my number 2 is Edmund Gwenn. Okay. My number 2 is Edmund Gwenn, who is the original Santa Claus in the original 1955 version of Miracle on 34th Street. I feel like it is a classic film. I feel like it is a film that just does so much for so many people. The story is great. The characters are great. The actors are great. Maureen O'Hara, I mean, and Edmund Gwenn does just a fantastic job. I feel like it has always stood the test of time, no matter what has come before or after it. It's always one of those that's on our watch list every Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and say Edmund Gwenn is number 2. One of the most classic scenes, I think, is when he's singing with the girl in, was it Dutch? I think it was Dutch that he was singing, right? And that's one of the most classic scenes to me. That is like a classic Santa scene. And then when Susan pulls on his beard, those are all the things that people just absolutely go crazy for. All the classic Santa tropes. You got to love it. And you got to love how everyone thought he was a kooky old man. And at the end of the movie, it's revealed he is Santa Claus. You just got to love that. So I think it's great. And he's my number 2. Dan?
So this is where Tim totally goes off the rails. It doesn't get it. So Edmund Gwenn, by any standard, by anybody, I mean, is there a cuter, precocious little girl than Natalie Wood? There isn't. Is there a better Santa Claus than Edmund Gwenn? There isn't. He is the template. He is the ideal. He sets the tone for all future cinematic Santa Clauses, and that's why he belongs nowhere other than number 1. He is absolutely he is my number 1 Santa Claus of all time. He is the yardstick by which other Santa Clauses may be measured. And that is why he's number 1. And I'll tell you why my number 2 is number 2, because Edwin Gwenn got to actually be the Santa Claus for Macy's. Mm-hmm. Whereas my number 2 Santa Claus,
they couldn't get the rights to Macy's.
By the time they went to remake this movie in the 90s, they did. They spared no expense. Tim, they spared no expense.
I see what he did there. That's Richard Attenborough. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, so they had no other than the Jurassic Park founder himself, Richard Attenborough, in the role of Santa Claus, and he did nail it. But Macy's, for whatever reason, felt like they didn't want any product placement because I guess they're crazy. But anyway, he didn't even get to represent Macy's. And plus, he did a great job. But again, when it's like if you cover an Elvis song or you cover the Rolling Stones. I mean, can you do your own thing with it a little bit? But you're not going to make it better. You're just going to make it a little different, So it is a good job. It's not a great job. And my number 2 is Richard Attenborough, and my number 1, without a doubt, Edmund Gwenn. So what was your number 1?
And that's just it. My number 1 was indeed Richard Attenborough. And let me explain. Okay. This kind of goes back to everyone has their favorite captain on Star Trek, right? Like I like
of course.
Yeah, exactly. I like Picard over Kirk, right? But I like
so you're wrong there too.
I like the original series. I like the original series over Next Generation, right? So it's kind of like that, where I like Richard Attenborough as Santa Claus just a little bit more, but I love the original 1955 Miracle on 34th Street so much more. That's just a personal feeling of mine. So, but Richard Attenborough as Santa Claus, the moment where he gets dressed and there's kind of like a black screen with a spotlight, and you can just kind of see it's like he's got this Santa Claus aura, and he just lights up and smiles. He's got the gold glistening buttons, and you can just that moment right there to me is just like, that's Santa Claus. And so I love Richard Attenborough as Santa Claus. I've always loved Richard Attenborough as Santa Claus. And very much because we had the exact same story. We actually had a great cast in this movie.
Yeah.
There are some people in here that were kind of hidden. Jane Leeves was in this movie, who was very popular on Seinfeld and Frasier and some other stuff. And then you had what was the main actress's name? She was the lady that was Wilma on the Flintstones. She had had that a couple years before. You had the girl that played Matilda, play Susan, and the guy from The Practice. But the one thing you'll notice about all these people is I don't know their names. I just know what they're known for. But once again, not as great.
Dylan McDermott.
That's who it was. Yeah, Elizabeth Perkins. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. So fantastic. They all did a great job. I feel like they all did a great job. Doesn't quite hold up the magic of the original, but it is as close as it can be. It's one of the few remakes that I think can hold water, and it is a good entertaining watch. It's one of the few remakes that's like that. So definitely.
It's a John Hughes production. And if you watch anything on Nerdside Champs, you know that me and Tim will both tell you can't go wrong with a John Hughes production.
You can't.
We need more Midwesterners making these films in the Midwest, is what that tells me. Because John Hughes was from the suburbs of Chicago. He shot his films in Chicago, and when everybody's from the coast, they all have that coast feel. And even though Miracle on 34th Street is set in New York, you get a different flavor when you have a Midwesterner at the helm. And so that's a John Hughes production. It is a fantastic film. It is my number 2. And while we're talking, now I will say one of my favorite scenes from both Miracle 34th Streets is not one you talk about much, but it's when Santa Claus, early in the movie, when Santa Claus gives the drunk Santa Claus actor the business in either film. That is just when he comes, you should be ashamed. And he gets all upset. That's quality entertainment. And,
it is.
We do have a long list. Tim was in charge of compiling our list, but with our first honorable mention, I want to throw one out there that I'm going to surmise is not on your list. And,
okay, go ahead.
He's on television every year, right? Mm-hmm. And it dives directly into us talking about A Miracle on 34th Street. And he rings in the holiday season for everyone. It's the Macy's Santa Claus. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And he actually, he doesn't speak. There's no story, but man, Macy's in New York, they kill it with their Santa Claus, man. They don't ever have a bad one. Like Like, I know Miracle on 34th Street is based on them hiring some schmuck who gets drunk, but they don't really do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
they go all out, man. I mean, they find the perfect guy. They give him the perfect outfit. He has the perfect demeanor, and everybody else, right? It doesn't matter who they've played or who they are. Everybody else in the parade gets the little scroll with their actual name. He gets a scroll that says Santa down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. So Santa, he is Santa. So there you go.
Yeah. Because as we know from A Miracle on 34th Street, or The Miracle, that Santa, real life Santa, does work at Macy's.
That's right.
And you can go see him. And if Macy's is out of what you need, he'll tell you where to go get it.
He'll tell you where to go find it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, that's just one of the reasons why that Santa is great. So, with that in mind, where are we going with our list? Tim has the list. He's done the research.
Let's just go through these one by one. So we've got a whole bunch of honorable mentions, some of which we've seen, some of which we haven't. So if we haven't seen them, we'll just kind of give speculative how we thought they would do kind of thing. And then we also have a fun little list at the end of people that didn't actually play Santa, but dressed up as Santa in a film. And we'll get to those later. But let's start with our good old-fashioned buddy Tom Hanks on Polar Express. Dan, what are your thoughts on Tom Hanks and Polar Express?
My thoughts of Tom Hanks on Polar Express are about the same as the movie Polar Express, is in that it is very creepy. It is a creepy film. Richard Zemeckis is a genius. Robert Zemeckis is a genius. I will not speak ill of him. Tom Hanks is a genius, and he has done fantastic things. The two of them together have done amazing things. They made Forrest Gump. They made Castaway. For some reason, Robert Zemeckis fell in love with the motion capture stuff when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just one of a whole host. Like, he made Beowulf. And if this wasn't set during Christmas,
he did the Disney version of A Christmas Carol the same way, if I'm not mistaken, with Jim Carrey. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. The motion capture stuff is creepy. It's not good. I don't care how much you love Avatar. The dots on the face and turning it into stuff is crap. It's in the uncanny valley. It doesn't look real. It especially didn't look real at the time they were making this. Now, I do know that Disney's A Christmas Carol and Polar Express are semi-holiday classics, and a lot of people watch them every year. A lot of people think they're good. If they were not set during and about Christmas, right, they would have the same rewatchability as Beowulf, which is to say none. Because, man, that's the...
And if I'm not mistaken, that is about the moment in time when 3D really started taking off as well. And I think both of those movies were big 3D pitches in the theaters. I think that's what got people in the seats originally for both the Christmas Carol and for Polar Express was. And that's why when you see those scenes, and they might not seem as great now because you're not seeing them in 3D, but like the ticket getting blown all over the place, that looked really cool in 3D. Like, that looked really, really cool in 3D, and it's like a 5-minute segment, right? But
at home you're just looking at your watch, like, okay,
you're just sitting there like this ticket's getting blown all over the place. Okay, but yeah, I mean, as Santa Claus, I think Tom Hanks did a decent job. I think he did a good job with the voice. I think he did a good job overall with the message that he relayed to the kids and the personality traits that their tickets had that they needed to have and all that kind of stuff. I think that he did a great job with that. I understand that this was not exactly Tom Hanks putting on the suit and dressing up as Santa Claus, so that's why it makes the honorable mention list for me. I think instead of being in the top echelon, because it just isn't the same. I don't think so.
I would pay good money to see Tom Hanks play Santa Claus for real in a Santa suit in live action. That would be I would pay good money to see him voice Santa Claus in an animated feature that was animated traditionally. So yeah, that's and you made something. I had forgotten the 3D aspect, and you made something really clear for me because my daughter has turned on the Disney Christmas Carol a couple times this year, and it's been on. And the shrinking thing with the Ghost of Christmas Future, and he's mouse sized, and all of a sudden he's going down a gutter like a drain pipe, and I'm like, why is there like a 5-minute water slide sequence in the middle of a Christmas Carol? I don't understand what is going on here, but now I remember it was
that's
3D.
exactly why. It's the 3D stuff. That's exactly what it was. And if you don't see this in 3D, you think to yourself like, that's kind of interesting. You know, it's like I tried watching the Christmas Carol with my daughter, and she's just like, can we just watch the Muppet one instead? You know, this is like, different. I don't like it as much. So just kind of, I mean, but yeah, for the most part, I don't think he did a bad job as Santa Claus. He played way too many characters in the movie, just like Jim Carrey played too many characters in the Christmas Carol. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You want to use your top billing for all that he's worth, but did he really have to play the creepy hobo for that length of time? I mean, did he? There's just a lot there that we didn't really have to do, but we did. So
it was Zemeckis' fascination with the motion capture, and I'm going to have an actor play 15 characters in the same movie, and it's like, that's only fun when Eddie Murphy does it in Nutty Professor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Or in Coming to America. You're not Eddie Murphy. Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future 2 also good, but that's because he's playing his own kids and himself. But just for the sake of it, because you've got this fancy computer stuff. That's not a good enough reason. So yeah. Anyway.
All right. Let's talk about J.K. Simmons a little bit, Dan. So J.K. Simmons played 2 different Santa Clauses. Now, I have not seen the animated Klaus movie on Netflix. Have you seen it yet? I know Jason mentioned it last week.
Jason keeps telling us to watch it.
He says it's a great watch. He says it's actually got like a good emotional pull, which is something that I actually really like out of my Christmas movies. So I have a feeling I'm going to end up watching it. But J.K. Simmons does the voice on that one. And so I would say the recommendation of Jason is enough. We can recommend it to the audience. But he says that it's definitely something worth watching. But I am not familiar with that. But he does play the Jim Rat version of Santa Claus in Red One. So, Dan, what did you think of J.K. Simmons' portrayal of Santa Claus in Red One?
So here's why I know Klaus is good.
Yeah.
Because J.K. Simmons is an amazing actor. But like many character actors, J.K. Simmons sometimes makes films because he wants to and because he likes them. And every now and again, because he's not The Rock and resting on his laurels of millions or billions of dollars, he has to make a movie to cash a check because he needs to get paid. Now, between Klaus, the obscure, lightly watched animated Santa Claus origin film on Netflix, and Red One, the giant, overblown Amazon film starring The Rock and Chris Evans, which one do you think he was collecting a paycheck on? I'm going to say option B. He's good in the movie. He's not great. It is it's an interesting take on Santa Claus. The Jim Rat, Santa Claus, he does like cookies, but like
Santa Claus needs a spotter. I just thought it's just, The Rock is spotting for J.K. Simmons I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's not in the movie much because the whole plot of the movie is Santa has been kidnapped. I don't think that's a spoiler because it's basically what the whole movie is about.
You saw the trailer, you saw the movie. So we can't spoil it.
I guess the only thing you might not like, the actual Christmas delivering is very athletic. It's very athletic. The delivering of the presents. There's a lot of jumping and bounding and running in place and getting hyped up like you're like going into an NFL football game, and it's it's different. It's a whole different take. But J.K. Simmons is there's problems with that movie, J.K. Simmons isn't really one of them. The take on Santa is a little off kilter, but for I guess that film, it's the one you would go with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's not going to make my top 10 list, I don't think, of cinematic Santas,
Yeah.
but it's
I'm
not
with you
terrible.
there. I'm with you there
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
All right. So let's talk about one that I don't know if you've seen. Dan, have you seen Fred Claus and Paul
I have
Giamatti
not
as Santa
seen.
Claus? All
I have
right.
not
So
seen Fred Claus.
let me just kind of tell you what a little bit about it. So we're all familiar with Paul Giamatti's work. He's a fantastic actor. If you don't know who Paul Giamatti is, he's great. He often is kind of a comedy, like comic relief kind of actor. But one of the things that's really funny about it is they went with the angle where, when they were little, Santa and his brother Frederick, so it's Nicholas and Frederick, were and Nicholas would always annoy Frederick with how amazing he thought the Christmas season was and everything. Well, then they get older, and Frederick, who's played by Vince Vaughn, ends up being kind of a like hustler and a slacker and all these kind of things. And you can just tell the angle that they went with this was that Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus have like marriage disputes over whether or not he should help his brother. And it's really funny. Like they're arguing in bed when he calls Santa to ask him for money, and they're like, he's just like telling her, oh, hold on, and so it's really funny. But it's kind of an interesting angle that they took with the whole thing. Probably not a classic movie and probably not a classic version of Santa, but Paul Giamatti doing some classic Paul Giamatti stuff, puts his own little funny spin on it. And I think that it is a kind of funny movie. I would say the first 15-20 minutes of that movie, hilarious. The rest of the movie takes a really predictable turn. But yeah, Paul Giamatti as Santa Claus in Fred Claus. So
Yeah, I think that's the best endorsement you've given it, because you brought it up before. So you've never really made me want to watch it with the way you've described it. But
yeah,
I may give it a little bit. I do like Paul Giamatti. He's fantastic as John Adams. Have you ever watched
I think you'll get.
He's
I think you'll get to the point where you'll watch it and you'll be like about 15 minutes in and you'll be like, I see where this is going, and you don't really need to watch it anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of
off after that. Okay.
Pretty much, So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Kurt Russell on the Christmas Chronicles. Now I have not seen the Christmas Chronicles. Dan, have you? I have not seen
I have seen the Christmas Chronicles.
There's two of them, right?
I watched both seasons.
Okay.
I thought it was a cool idea, because this is what you do now. Films are not released or made or put out. When was the last time they made a full-on theatrical production Christmas film for everybody to go see a Christmas movie? So the movies aren't made. So Netflix had the idea, we make these streaming shows that people binge. People binge these shows. Let's make a Christmas one. And I thought that was a cool idea. And so I did watch the Santa Chronicles. I remember thinking they were okay. Just meh. They weren't great. They weren't terrible. What year was this? Do you have the year? It was like 2020. It was.
I want to say it was like right before COVID, right? Like 18, 19. Does that sound right? I don't know. Let me look at that. I think I want to say it's like
18 was the first season.
There it is. There it is. Yeah.
So here is, on one hand, I could tell you that I remember thinking that was okay. That was, that was pretty good. I thought it was good. I wouldn't tell people not to watch it. But one thing that I could say against it is it was 7 years ago, and I remember almost nothing. That it didn't make a strong enough impression for you to remember much about it. He's more of an action oriented. They go this way with Santa a lot now, I guess. The J.K. Simmons might not be, it's not quite the gym rat Santa, the J.K., but the fit action hero style Santa is like a way that we go, but like this one is not like the the jaded, David Harbour action hero Santa. This is more of like this is if Snake Plissken was Santa. He's I do remember Kurt Russell does I think he sings Blue Christmas or something. He does an Elvis impression type thing. Kurt Russell does a pretty good Elvis.
Well, and Goldie Hawn is Mrs. Claus, right? Like Goldie Hawn
she
is
does
Mrs.
not
Claus.
show up. She shows up at like the end of the first season, like and you're like, it was kind of like one of those, oh, hey, Goldie Hawn, that kind of thing. So but I would say, based on my recollection, folks, give it a shot. It wasn't bad. So that means and these days, anything that is not terrible is pretty good. That's a high bar now. Not terrible. That's so if you want to see something you haven't seen or don't remember, fire it up and give it a shot. It was good enough that I would watch it again and try to remember what happened better next time.
All right. Moving on, Dan. This one is one that I think actually is something that a lot of people are going to think of when they think of Santa Claus. So Ed Asner in Elf. All right. What do you think about Ed Asner and Elf? First of all, I'm a big Ed Asner fan in general. Yes. I love Ed Asner. I think everything that he's ever done, I just love Ed Asner. And so it's really funny when I was in college is when I saw this the first time. It came out in 2003 and I went to the theater and saw it. I didn't even register that this was Ed Asner until later on, you know what I mean? Which is really funny because they had done so much with the makeup and all that other stuff. It didn't even register that this was Ed Asner for me until it was just a few years after that when I realized that that's who it was. So I love everything Ed Asner does. I think that he just nailed this. This was not a Santa-centric movie, so I think it kind of needs to slide down just a little bit. I don't think you can think of it as one of the top Santa performances when it's not really a Santa-centric movie, but I think that he delivers it well. I think that he does look like Santa. He acts like Santa. And in general, I think a lot of people, like I said, the generation just below me, the zillennial kind of generation, that generation probably thinks of this as one of their top Santa Clauses, just because it's one of the top movies for that generation. So I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Actually, Ed Asner was my last second number 3 list removal. I think he nailed the role. I mean, like he is very like he gets a lot of the tropes, like the busy Santa trying to get things done right. I love the world building of having to have the rocket engine installed to the sleigh because there's not enough belief to make it run. And I think that gets sold very well. And he's so perfect for the role. I feel like, and I don't know, has he played Santa more than once? Was he Santa in something? I mean, because he just gives Santa vibes.
He does, man.
He does. Yeah.
He looks like he should, So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
he gives those vibes.
Yeah, he kills it. He is a great Santa. He is definitely in my top 5. He got kicked out of my Mount Rushmore at the last minute. And again, I like Santas that the movie isn't necessarily all about Santa because, again, he's that kind of character that you don't necessarily want to get too deep in the origins and the mythology of it because the little bit of mystery helps. You know?
Especially in a goofy movie like Elf. In a goofy movie like Elf, Santa just needs to be brushed on. You know what I mean? And I think that it's really funny that, they found a way to make him very involved, particularly at the very end, have him be a big part of the story, but really have it be something where it was just mainly the Elf story, which is good. So I think that he did a great job at it. And I love Ed Asner. I love everything Ed Asner's ever done. I'm huge fan of his all the way back to his sitcom days. So, yeah. So definitely. All right.
Yeah,
Well, let's move on to some of these weirder ones, Dan.
Okay.
So, I don't think we've seen a lot of these. There's three
Okay.
of these right in a row that I have not seen. Okay, so we're going to talk about them one by one and what
All
we
right.
kind of think, and we'll go from there. So let's talk about
Let's see.
Jack Black and Dear Santa. So from what I understand, Dan, you told me he does not play Santa. He plays
No.
Satan.
There we go. There we
He
go.
plays Santa. He plays Satan, and then somebody accidentally sent a letter to Satan because they couldn't spell or something. Is that what
Correct.
happened? Or
A stupid child. Yeah. I have not seen the movie either, but I have seen the trailer, and I did intend to watch this, and yet somehow managed not to. There are too many movies on streaming. My theory is that, like, I've only watched like two. I've watched Red One now. I think I can. The number of direct to streaming movies I have ever watched once, you can count on one hand. If you can watch it anytime, you don't have to watch it ever.
Yeah, exactly.
You can always just watch it later, and it just never makes it to the top of the list. Tons of things have come out on streaming that I would have paid money to go see in the theater and would have seen already and probably watched again when it came out at home. But I haven't seen it one time because it came out on streaming. I was like, oh, I'll do it later. Like I haven't seen Axel F. I haven't seen Coming to America. I haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2, and I haven't seen Dear Santa. So, but it looks, the kid is dumb. He spells Santa Satan. Satan gets the letter, decides to go to pretend to be Santa. So that is, and he kind of gives him from what I understand, Satan gives this kid, while pretending to be Santa, kind of a genie deal, a 3-wish situation. So, hijinks ensue. So we can watch it. Jack Black's usually funny.
I'm not a Jack Black fan, which is really funny because I think a lot of people can tell I'm really good friends with Jack Black over here. But what's really funny to me is that the premise of that movie does sound like it's so funny because you can see a kid that can't spelling Satan instead of Santa. You can totally see that, and so that's why it's really funny. But anyway. So yeah, great premise there, and whoever thought of that is just brilliant. I think that's funny, but don't know how the movie will be. But anyway, all right. So the next one is one that I have never seen and I have never even heard of until today, and that is Mel Gibson in Fat Man. Have you ever heard this, Dan? I have never heard of this. Let me read the overview, okay? So to save his declining business, Kris Kringle, also known as Santa Claus, is forced into a partnership with the U.S. military. Making matters worse, Kris gets locked into a deadly battle of wits against a highly skilled assassin hired by a precocious 12-year-old after receiving a lump of coal in his stocking. So definitely an angle that we're taking here. And the guy that is the assassin is oh gosh, what's this guy's name? I always forget. Walton Goggins. Okay, he's the guy that plays the assassin. So really, really funny. It sounds like it'd be a funny one, but honestly, if you had to pick somebody to do that, I don't know that I would have picked Mel Gibson, but maybe it fits. I don't know. I've never seen the movie. Dan, what do you think?
I saw like a couple seconds of a preview for it. I don't even remember which streaming service it was this year. It was like you fire up the streaming service, how it's got things playing on the screen, like, oh, here's a Christmassy movie. And I was like, that looks odd. But you know what just sold me on it, Tim?
What's that?
And I do love later day Mel Gibson. We had a disagreement about whichever Expendables it was with Mel Gibson in it.
Oh, I
thought
hate
he was
Expendables.
fantastic. I thought he was fantastic as the villain in that. He was chewing that scenery better than any scenery chewer who ever chewed scenery in his life. He played crazy in that better than he ever did as Riggs. He seemed totally insane because I think he is insane now. When a crazy person gets to play crazy, you get to see crazy. You know what I'm saying? So anyway. You sold me on it when you said Walton Goggins is on it, because if your goggles ain't Goggins, they don't belong on your noggins. I love Walton Goggins. He is great. I watched the whole season of that show, Fallout. And you know, if you watch any Nerd Champs, you know that me and Tim don't play any video games.
We don't play video games.
Yeah. Tim has
wrong kind of nerds.
Yeah, we're not that kind of nerds. Tim does have one retro game thing where he plays like old Sega games and SNES games.
That's it. That's
as far as his video game
arcade games.
Progressed.
Yeah, arcade games.
I played Mortal Kombat. I had a PS1. I played the first Resident Evil, the first one. That's about as far. And then, like, you know, we just don't play video games. And you did. I watched
really
that
funny.
show.
It's really funny because our friend Jonathan, when we visited him once, he has, you know, a PlayStation like 27 or whatever it is now, you know, and he gives me and Dan the controllers, and we're like, how does this work? You know, like we're very video game dumb.
Yeah,
we're very video game dumb. So anyway, go ahead, Dan.
So I watched Fallout for one reason. Walton Goggins was in it, because I go back. I'm a big Danny McBride fan. I think Danny McBride is hilarious. Eastbound and Down is one of the best TV shows ever. And his follow-up series to Eastbound and Down was Vice Principals, where Danny McBride's number one adversary, they're both vice principals at this school, is Walton Goggins. And he is just, and he is in Danny McBride's whole like repertoire now, because Danny McBride's next show was the Righteous Gemstones, and he plays Baby Billy on the Righteous Gemstones, and he is hilarious.
He's a great antagonist. He just has that face. He is a great antagonist. Everything that he does just grinds against, and he's really got kind of like a little comedy that he throws in there. So yeah, and I can kind of see the direction that he would go in this particular movie.
Yeah, and as much as I love Timothy Oliphant, Walton Goggins is the best part of Justified. He is the if you ever watched,
for sure,
he is the best part of that show. Like, they made a revival season where you know, Givers, Timothy Oliphant goes to the city, right? And Walton Goggins isn't there, and you're like, this show sucks now. This is not a good you know. Like, if I don't get him to get to see him play off Walton Goggins, then, you know, it's like watching Deadwood and you know, what's his name, the saloon owner, Ian McShane. It would be like if you were watching, you know, Deadwood and Ian McShane wasn't there. You'd be like, no, I'm not doing this. This is not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I'm gonna watch Fat Man now, just so I can see Walton Goggins.
Because of that.
And if he's playing crazy, and if he's playing Crazy Santa, I think Mel Gibson could do it. I think he can get that.
Well, we're gonna go to the other half of the duo, Dan, because from Mel Gibson, we're gonna go to Danny Glover in The Naughty Nine. Okay, Danny Glover playing Santa Claus in a movie on Disney Plus called The Naughty Nine. Have you ever seen The Naughty Nine, Dan?
I've never heard of it.
I have no idea what it's about. No clue at all. I could Google it real quick and read the description, but I am not interested. Danny Glover, I don't think he would be a bad Santa Claus. I'll just say it. I don't think he would be a bad Santa Claus. But the fact that it's a Disney Plus movie that I have not seen means it's probably a terrible movie. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I could see Danny Glover being a pretty decent Santa Claus. So I don't know. I've never seen the film before.
Plus, like, okay, here's something to consider. Black Santa Claus movie is not something that turns me off. I'll watch a Black Santa Claus movie. Disney Plus Black Santa Claus movie. Nope. Not gonna watch that Santa Claus movie. I mean, if it was just anybody else, if any other studio or streaming service had made a Danny Glover Santa Claus movie, I'm like, oh, that might be pretty good. But you tell me Disney Plus made it, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not watching that.
So the overview is very simple. Andy, a mischievous boy, discovers that he's on Santa's naughty list. How? I have no idea. But he forms a team with other children from the list to claim their gifts. So there you go. That sounds like the most Disney thing ever. So yeah, I have not seen it, and I doubt I'll see it, but Danny Glover's the one that plays Santa Claus. That's all I know. So yeah.
In spite of that description,
kind of funny.
Tim,
what's that?
In spite of that description, Tim, in spite of what you just told me it's about, right? It's on Disney Plus, and it has a black Santa. So I'm going to tell you what it's really about, Tim.
Rotten Tomatoes, 67%.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the movie is about racism in America. That is what it's about. I don't know how it's going to turn the plot of a mischievous child stealing his gifts from Santa into a movie about racism in America, but I know it was made by Disney Plus and stars a black man as Santa. So that is what it is absolutely about. The same way that the one with the girl that Jason thinks is great and you think is awful, and I can't remember her name because I don't know who she is. Disney Plus made that, and it was a Santa movie all about patriarchy and sexism. So
yep.
Yeah.
Disney Plus is all I think we needed to hear, and that's why Danny Glover, you are not going to be on Mount Rushmore. I apologize. You're not going to be on Mount Rushmore. You're on Mount Rushmore for a lot of other things, but not this one. Okay. You're not on the Santa Mount Rushmore.
At some point, like I will watch a clip on YouTube if somebody sends it to me. If as Santa, he does say, I'm getting too old for this. If he says that, as Santa, I will watch that scene.
If he hunts a predator as Santa, maybe I'll go ahead and turn it on. But until then, they own the rights to both franchises, so maybe they can merge them together. I don't know.
Santa would have the upper hand because until recently, predators didn't like the cold when they were first introduced.
That's right.
They used to show up in tropical climates. Now they get their butt kicked by like 90-pound Viking women in the snow in PS2 cutscenes that they call a movie.
All right, so let's move on to the next one here. So Dan, one of my favorite shows of all time is Futurama. I love Futurama. Okay, and Robot Santa is one that I enjoy, voiced by John Goodman. If you don't know about Futurama and the Christmas episodes, it's really funny. In the year 3000, which is when Futurama takes place, Christmas has become Xmas. It's now called Xmas, not Christmas. And Santa is now a robot that automatically assumes that everybody is naughty. So on Christmas Eve, Santa goes on a killing spree. And it's voiced by John Goodman. It's really funny. There are at least 2, maybe 3 Christmas episodes, and it is really, really funny. I enjoy it. So pretty much on Christmas Eve, it's not a fun time for them. They all have to like lock down like it's the purge and hope that Santa doesn't come down the chimney. And it's just hilarious. And so anyway, I say give it a watch. There's a funny episode where Bender tries to take over for Santa, and everybody ends up like thinking that he's still mean when he's not, and it's a really, really funny take on Santa Claus. And John Goodman, like I said, does a great job with the voice. If John Goodman ever played Santa Claus, I think that everyone would assume that he did a good job. It is a great job with the voice. So yeah.
I Futurama. Now it's been a while since I've seen it, but I do remember the Santa episodes are very funny. Futurama is one of those that I loved it. I watched it when it was airing like the first time, but then it's had all these revivals, and there's spaced so far that I forgot. You forget stuff, so I'm always like, well, I just want to start again at the beginning, but it's so daunting that I haven't done it. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while since I've dove in,
What's really funny about Futurama is each season, they kind of tried to take on current events of what was happening at the time. And it is kind of funny to go back and watch some of the reruns and see them like make allusions to like the 2000 election or Al Gore doing global warming stuff or any of that kind of stuff. And then you fast forward to like our modern times, and now they're doing episodes about DEI classes for employment and all kinds of stuff. And it's really funny. It really is. They really try to take on things that are happening like right at the time that they're doing it. So it's kind of like a little time capsule of what's been going on in the last 25 years now. So, and Dan's right, there have been several revivals. There's been some on Comedy Central, some on Hulu. So it has been kind of a hodgepodge of things all put together. But the story for the general, for the most part, has a general line. It's still everything that happened before is still considered happening. So it's a good show, and the Santa episodes, they are really funny. So yes.
So I don't know if he's on your list, but we're talking long running animated shows with a version of Santa. Where my mind goes, South Park.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. South Park. But now here's the thing about South Park Santa. He doesn't, like, you would think a show like South Park would totally skewer and turn Santa upside down.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. South Park has bigger sights. They got bigger fish to fry than Santa. So their Santa is kind of just like a vanilla Santa. You know, they of all the things on South Park that get totally subverted, the Santa's kind of just, you know, Santa. He's just Santa. And he, like, I think the first time you meet Santa.
Now, who is introduced in South Park first? Santa or Mr. Hanky? That's what I'm kind of curious about.
It's
Mr. Hanky.
I really believe
that's probably why I think Santa is introduced as Santa, and they kind of laid hands off because Mr. Hanky was kind of like their stab at Santa. I think that was kind of, you know.
South Park's first Christmas episode that people remember really just steals its plot from Frosty the Snowman. Because instead of Frosty the Snowman, you get Mr. Hanky the Christmas poo. And Santa in both adventures shows up to save our new Christmas creation and take them to be safe at the North Pole. So yeah, that's Santa's role with Mr. Hanky, is to give him a place to live on the North Pole. And then also, of course, South Park, very famously, Jesus is a character on South Park. So Jesus shows up in the Christmas episode. So Santa gets kind of a easy treatment because they're skewering Mr. Hanky and they have Jesus there. And of course you get the Christmas classic, I'm Just a Lonely Jew on Christmas.
Yes.
So, and the Mr. Hanky song, He Loves Me and I Love You. So vicariously,
there's actually a lot of really good South Park Christmas soundtracks. So you know, I'm not going to get into Mr. Garrison's song, but I love Mr. Garrison's song. Anyway, moving on before I get in trouble. Moving on. Okay. So Robot Santa, and then of course South Park Santa. So I'm going to move on to one that is very, very brief in the movie that it's in. It is in the Chronicles of Narnia, and it is James Cosmo as Father Christmas, which is clearly supposed to be a representation of Santa Claus. Okay. So it's very, very brief. He's riding a sleigh. They're in the snow. He's got the beard. He's got the suit. He's got everything. He's Father Christmas, but he is clearly supposed to be a representation of Santa Claus. And then he gives them their gifts, right? And their gifts are, you know, the swords and the bow and all that kind of stuff. So very, very important character for that, but it was a very, very brief. It was only a couple minutes of the movie. So I think that it was a very good representation of Santa Claus, but it was a very, very brief part of the movie. It's not even really what anyone would consider a Christmas movie, but was a representation of Santa Claus on the screen, done very well, and was very important to the story. So, Dan?
Yeah. I'm going to give you the full depth of my Narnia knowledge and Lewis Carroll expertise. I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe when I was like 10 or 12 years old. And I liked it. It, you know, but that was it. I haven't seen any of the movies. Are there more books, right? The books keep going, or they don't keep going?
There are more movies and books. Disney had the right. Disney's the one that did the first movie, and it was very well done. After that, I don't believe Disney had the rights anymore. Okay. And then they tried to keep some of the same actors, but not all the same actors. And so it didn't really work out as well. They went way more towards CG than they needed to. And honestly, the last two movies just were not great. But the first one, I think, is very good. So I would always tell anybody, first one is very, very good. I think that it kind of lays the groundwork for the rest of them, but it actually is good being its own succinct story. And you get a version of Santa Claus in the middle of this epic fantasy story. So it's kind of a good one. And C.S. Lewis was a brilliant man, great author. I think that he did a great job in the world building and all that kind of stuff. It was very good. So anyway, so that one was a little off the beaten path, but anyway. All right, Dan, let's have a discussion about a Santa Claus that might be beloved to some. All right. Stan Francis voicing the Santa on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Let's talk about our Santa here, Dan. All right. Yeah. Why is he on the honorable mentions list, Dan?
Because now this is no shade to the Rankin and Bass Rudolph special, which is a classic, and my wife loves it. Hygienist, and it's the story of a little elf becoming a dentist. But anyway, it includes what may be the worst, like the absolute worst, just Santa you have ever seen in your life. He is mean. It is not just all of the other reindeer that don't let Rudolph come out and play and join in the reindeer games. No, Santa comes to Donner, the ashamed dad of Rudolph, and is like, "You need to get that checked out. There's something wrong." I think it does when he's born. Santa's there. It points out that his nose is weird. The whole hiding thing originates from Santa's reaction.
Well, and Santa is standing there when Rudolph takes off, right? When Rudolph takes off because Patrice calls him cute, right? And he takes off and he's leaping and flying and he's leaping and flying and light as a feather, and he's amazing, and he's doing what none of the other reindeer can do. And then we find out he's got the nose, and Santa's like, "Oh, well, you can do the job, but the nose, I can't get over the nose, man." It's just so weird. So Santa is so fixed on something that has nothing to do with the efficiency of the job, and you would think that that's all he would be focused on. So I don't know.
The North Pole would be a pure meritocracy.
That's right, pure meritocracy. Can you do the job? That's all that matters. I don't care what moles you have. If you got more toes than everybody else, it doesn't matter. Can you do the job effectively? It's kind of funny because we prop up Herbie and he's terrible at his job too. So I don't know, but Santa's kind of a jerk in Rudolph.
Kind of a jerk. Yeah.
So.
I mean, culture of any organization, as you know, you guys all work. Me and Tim know, we've been out in the labor force. We know all about this. The culture of any organization starts at the top, right?
That's right.
It's always, yep.
That's right.
Why does the head elf think that Hermie needs to make toys, even though he sucks at making toys and doesn't like it? Santa wants it that way.
Santa wants it that way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Why can't, Rudolph, even though he's better than all the other students in his class, be on track? No, he's got a weird nose. Santa can't have no weird nose reindeer. I mean, it is just, and like, what turns it all around for Santa? What turns it around? He needs him. That's it. Yeah.
And I always wondered, like, after that Christmas, were they just like, we don't really need you anymore. We're going a different direction now, Rudolph.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for your contribution that one Christmas, but we don't really need you anymore,
Yeah.
So I always wondered
this year, there's no foggy,
Yeah.
And it's just,
there's this new guy named Evan. He's,
because they might have the best Mrs. Claus in all of ever. The German mother, eat. The children don't want a skinny Santa. Eat, Papa, eat. Which is just, that's great. It's even funny that he doesn't want to eat. He's worried about getting the toys made. But
yeah,
you could tell it was from a different time.
It really was. It was.
They would not have a Santa like that in a kid's movie today.
No,
that is just so dismissive of anybody who's a little bit outside the norm. That's kind of it. It's definitely. And I will tell you, I know there's crossovers out there, but the Rankin and Bass stories are not taking place in the same continuity, because the Santa that shows up at the end of Frosty the Snowman and saves Frosty is very much not the same Santa.
Not even
that can't get over Rudolph's weird nose. Those are different Santas. Yeah.
All right. So that's all of our honorable mentions. Now I do have a subcategory here, Dan, that we're going to talk about for a second. So these are not characters that play. These are not actors that played Santa, but they did don the hat, the beard, and the coat. Okay. So they dressed
throw
as
one
Santa.
out?
Go ahead.
Okay, we touched on this with our weird Christmas movies, but I don't care that he was voiced by Mickey Rooney. The Santa and Santa Claus is coming to town, I believe, is a pedophile.
Weird.
I think.
Yeah, weird.
Because when they have a whole song about you sit on Santa's lap
and you get a toy.
Yeah, yeah. When beard-free ginger Santa Claus shows up into town as a 20-something-year-old man.
Hey guys, I got a great idea. Line your kids up. Line those kids up. Let's go.
I got toys and candy. So anyway, on to the list you were getting into, Tim.
All right. So So let's talk about these people. So first, Jim Belushi, Jingle All the Way. Let's talk about this. So he runs the department store Santa underground toy ring, where they bring unsuspecting parents to pay big money for last minute gifts that fall apart. Right. So this is the big thing that they do. And, Jim Belushi always does the Jim Belushi stuff. And the password is Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, and all that stuff. Yeah. It's just, it's hilarious on its face. I think that Jim Belushi always does a great job, but I don't know. What do you think of that one, Dan?
I love him. I love the midget sidekick that's not an elf, but a midget Santa. The midget Santa puts it over the top. And the big giant Santa that makes Arnold Schwarzenegger look like a little dude.
Yeah.
I mean, just the multitude of Santas in that scene.
I got to look and see who that was. I've got to look and see who that was that made him look so small. That's so fun.
And listen, folks, I know it's fun and it's super funny to like bash on Jingle All the Way. And you know what? I don't know what's more classic, Jingle All the Way or the Conan O'Brien bit, where they had like the fake Arnold Schwarzenegger with the bad lips, and he was like, my Christmas classic, Jingle All the Way, like that was like a running gag on Conan O'Brien. And that might be as funny as the movie because it was great. But Jingle All the Way is a really great Christmas movie. It is so funny.
It's funny. Like it is really hard to believe that Arnold is like this corporate dad. Like that's something that's hard to believe. Okay. I think there were like there were a dozen actors that could have done a better job than Arnold, but they wanted somebody to put the rubber suit on and be the superhero at the end. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
So Arnold
Yeah.
was the guy, I guess. So
yeah,
anyway.
I think somebody watched True Lies, like the first 20 minutes of True Lies, and was like,
Yeah.
what if Arnold was a boring computer salesman guy? It wasn't a secret spy. You know?
Yeah. Oh goodness. All right. So Jim Belushi. All right, let's talk about our good friend Billy Bob Thornton in Bad Santa, Dan. So let's talk about this one. This is a great one. I think that it is one of those movies that when it came out, I didn't know what to think about it. But the more that I see, I mean, this is what Dan and I are from Dayton, Ohio. I could totally see this being a department store Santa in Dayton, Ohio. If you asked me what their life was like for the department store Santa in Dayton, Ohio, this is what I would come up with. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, skinny drunk guy who doesn't really even care, and just it's perfect. It's perfect. You would another great little person sidekick.
Yeah, exactly.
The algorithm get bad at us, but whatever.
Well, and something that I didn't know until I watched the commentary, Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David, they sued the studio over this because they had a Seinfeld episode that was very similar, where Mickey the midget and the skinny Santa Kramer worked in a department store. So they actually sued the studio over the idea because they had it first and got it ripped off. So, and it's on the commentary that this is where they stole this from us, and they admit that they stole it from us and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was kind of funny. So
that's funny. But now Kramer didn't have a whole scheme put together where he robbed department stores to pay for his whole year,
No.
I think I would have remembered that, but yeah. But that is definitely a good one.
The last one that I've got here, and this is the last one we'll talk about, Jeff Gillen. Now, if you're asking yourself who Jeff Gillen is, I'm going to do one thing, and you'll be able to tell right away. Ho, ho, ho. Right?
A Christmas story.
Okay,
oh, it's so classic.
The department store Santa from A Christmas Story. I love this portrayal of a department store Santa because there is nothing in the world that is more accurate than the elves that don't want to be there, the Santa that only has like 12 seconds per child, and then we just throw them down there and hope that they don't get hurt down the slide. I think that it is hilarious because it's as accurate as can be. Anybody who's taken your kids to see Santa, you know exactly how accurate it is. Yes. I think it's great. So anyway,
how about a nice football? What? Well, okay.
Everything in my brain. What's a football? It's great. I love it, man. So great portrayal there, and just the boot on the head while saying ho ho ho. Classic moment. So anyway,
and I want to throw this out there because I Googled it while we were sitting here. We've got our category of great and not so great Santas. We got the people playing Santa in the film. They're not actually Santa. Here's a category. The world robbed us. Hollywood we were robbed as a society, right? People that should have been Santa, right?
I've got Wilford, and you're going to hate it. Go ahead.
But Wilford Brimley, he never played Santa.
That's crazy.
How did Wilford Brimley? How did Mr. Beatus himself? Don't give him a candy.
It's the cookies. It's the cookies. It's the cookies, Dan. That's why.
This year, he could have been like, this year, don't leave Santa cookies. Santa's got the Beatus. You got to leave Santa a healthy snack of celery and carrots.
I've got another one, Dan. I've got another one, and you're not going to like it, but I can't believe he's never played Santa, and that is the great Kevin James. I cannot believe Kevin James has never played Santa. I can't
Because
believe
he
it.
only ever
I mean,
plays Kevin James, and Kevin James
Yeah.
is not interesting. That's why.
The dude was always like 270 pounds the majority of his career. He should have played Santa at some point. I mean, that's
You know what? You just said the dude, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Jeff Daniels could be Santa.
There it is, right? Jeff Daniels
The
is a
dude
good
Santa.
one. Yeah.
That would be great. That's a great thing. Why are they not? Come on, get to work.
Right.
Now you missed it on
Now,
Wilford Brimley. He's gone. Did the Beatus get him?
Now, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't there a sketch on SNL in which the late Chris Farley was Matt Foley dressed as Santa Claus? Is that a thing? I think that was a thing, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think that might have been a thing. Chris Farley as Matt Foley dressed as Santa Claus giving a motivational speech. I believe that's a thing, and it needs to be talked about more. I'm going to look it up as soon as we leave, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Again, like, here's the thing. Farley Claus would have been amazing.
It would have.
How about John Candy? John Candy is Santa.
Mhm.
And John Candy was gone way too soon, right? So was Chris Farley. But John Candy was around long enough to have a long stream of stuff that was like, at the end, he was just doing too many films because he would do anything for a friend. He's making bad movies. Like, somebody should have given him the role. I mean, was there a more lovable big man than John Candy? No,
never.
Never in the history of ever. So why wasn't he ever Santa Claus? It's just missed opportunities. The world is robbed.
Opportunities. Totally.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. There were so many people that could have nailed this, but we did get quite a few great ones in the end. So yeah, that's our list. And we do have, we have a lot of friends of Nerd Champs that have weighed in on this. And someday we will find the footage and we will edit it together like we told them we were going to.
It'll be like 3 years old, but who cares? It's all right.
Yeah. Hey, Santa's timeless, right?
That's right.
So until next week, happy holidays, everybody. We will be back to have more Christmas shenanigans. I am Dan. That's Tim. And again, it was a bad week for us here as I shot out our sign off, but at least it was a worse week in that state up north.
For the state up north.
Yep.
That's right.
They had a worse time than we did. So
that's right. OHIO, baby.
Say OH.
IO.